Hello everyone, my name is Brandon Castro. I'm a third-year transfer majoring in mechanical engineering. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm running for the position of external vice president for the 2023-2024 academic school year. So as it is my first year here at UCI, I was wondering where I would find my home on campus. And it wasn't until I started coming out to Fusion General meetings where I really felt like the warm presence that all of y'all bring. And from that point that I knew that I wanted to join the organization as well as making an impact in it. So I went out and asked our current IVP, Daniel Solis, if I could still intern. So I did that. And honestly, so far, it's been one of the most fulfilling decisions I made in my time here in Irvine. So to touch up a little bit more on what I've done as an intern, I've done my rotations through all the positions I'm on board, as well as offering to help wherever I could. But some of the events that I've done as an intern, such as the CCC Community Roots Festival, as well as co-hosting the Puso Fusion Collab, I've really come to appreciate the work that the EVP does. The external vice president is responsible for being the primary point of contact for all external organizations, as well as keeping general members informed of opportunities that outside events or opportunities that may arise. I believe that I am qualified for this position not only for through the experience that I've gained through my internship, but I do feel as if it is in my general personality to seek out new opportunities, meet new people, and to learn about others. And I do genuinely believe there's an opportunity to be found anywhere you go, and I would love to provide the best of them for Fusion and its general members. Moving on, I'd like to talk a little bit about the position, or now that I've talked about the position, I'd like to share some ideas that I have for the next school year. I would say that one of the biggest duties that EVP carries is maintaining our relationships with our sister orgs through the Allianz umbrella. Some of you may be familiar with the collaborations that we do, as we had Fusion last night. But I would love to extend and strengthen our bonds with the other Allianz orgs past general meetings. One of the programs that I really enjoyed this year was the first iteration of Allianz Talks, where us, as well as the other organizations, came together to share and discuss our culture and what it means to us. So I think that all the other sister orgs have their own unique vibe, and I would love for Fusion General members to have more opportunities to share and discuss and meet their sister orgs. Another aspect of the position that I would like to touch on is maintaining our affiliations with the CCC and SOAR. These relationships are crucial to many of Fusion's programs, and such as being able to reserve this room right here, the Dr. White room, as well as obtaining grants for our general member t-shirts or FusionCon through SOAR. And lastly, one of the programs I would like to touch on is to introduce transfer support. As a transfer myself, I would say it's pretty daunting to try to find your place here on campus. So moving forward, I want Fusion to explore more opportunities and avenues to advertise Fusion as a home for transfers, and give them the same sense of community that I felt, as well as many of the other transfers here have felt. To conclude, Fusion has become my home away from home. I've gone so much out of this club, and we've seen leaps and bounds in terms of growth as an organization. And I'm proud to be able to contribute to that as an intern. As for the next coming school year, I would love to do so as your external vice president.
All right, again, if you have any questions, please scan this QR code. All right, I'll start with your first question, Brandon. The first question is, why shouldn't you run for this?
I would say one of the reasons that I shouldn't run for this position is that I'm relatively new here at UCI. As I mentioned, it's my first year transferring in. It's my first year here at Irvine. So, I mean, I would say I don't really know the lay of the land like the best. Like, before I came here, I was actually in CSL trying to print out my platform, but I couldn't figure out how to use WeClose, so here I am reading off my phone. So I would say many things like that, some that I might have, some things that I might have learned my first 2 years are here at Irvine, but instead I spent that at CC. So I would say not knowing the way around would probably be one of the reasons I shouldn't.
Your next question, can you critique the current position holder?
Okay. So seeing as Fusion has grown a lot this year, so too have our external programs. And I feel as like that's not only thanks to our current EVP, but it's thanks to like board in general. But I mean, I can't really think of any critiques per se, but I think it is fair to say that there's always room for improvement. Earlier I mentioned that we hosted our first iteration of Alianza Talks, so I'd love to like continue that like tradition as well as expand other programs. Additionally, I'd like to expand our relationship with like ESC. I feel as if there's more like resources and networks there that we could share between ourselves. Perhaps maybe we could do it through like pubbing through their weekly newsletter, as well as maybe introducing like collaborative workshops.
Your next question. As a part of the executive board, you'll be choosing your appointment board. What are some qualities you look for when choosing your appointment?
I think it was mentioned earlier. I think diligence is really key. I would say a lot of functions that I saw through this year were like, I guess like chaotic in a sense. It's a controlled chaos. So I think really being on top of like your programs and what you have to do is paramount to like success of Fusion. So I would say someone who can like time manage as well as like get their things done on time, because yeah.
Your next question. What impact do you hope to leave on people?
That's a good question. I would say, as EVP, I would really like to expand like opportunities that we have for our general members, as I said in my platform. But maybe we could do that through expanding past like UCI. I would say like we have a fairly strong relationship with our cousin org at PIES, which is Filipinos in Engineering and Science at UCLA. But perhaps we could expand our scope farther than that. Maybe like UCSD has organizations similar to us, or maybe Cal State Fullerton. So I would say broadening our horizons past UCI.
Next question. What are some ways you believe we can strengthen our bond with our sister orgs?
As I mentioned already, I would love to expand more programs. I mentioned Alianza Talks. I'd love to continue that. But maybe we could have more collaborations past like general meetings. Maybe we could do like an Alianza Park Day for like all general members. Maybe we can continue our Alianza study hours and just expanding programs like that. I think it's up to the next board of Fusion as well as the other orgs to figure that out. But I will say like it is something I do want to push for.
As EVP, you're responsible for relations with other external organizations. How will you go about collaborating with other orgs?
Collaborating how? Like this.
Okay.
Like how we had lots of talks, would you like to go about that with like other organizations?
Yeah, absolutely. I mentioned like something similar. Like I like to expand with like ESC. I know ESC holds a lot of like say like SolidWorks workshops and stuff like that. So that's not limited to like what we have here at UCI. Like if we did have other organizations outside of UCI that were interested, I would like be more than open to like entertaining that idea and seeing what we could work out.
Next question. As a transfer yourself, what are some programs you intend to implement to support transfers in the future?
Okay, this is a really big one for me. I would say coming to UCI as a transfer, it is pretty daunting. It's hard to find your community, as well as like, I guess it's a different environment from like community college. So one of the ones that I would like to introduce would be like a transfer workshop, where like you get the lay of the land, like I said, like maybe figure out how to use the printers, as well as like navigating like adjusting to like the quarter system, how to study for like UC classes, things like that. I would also like to like expand like our outreach. I do have contacts that do work in the transfer department, and I'd love to see like if we can have any of like the transfer orientation specifically. Can they mention Fusion? Can we get our name out that way? And lastly, I think it'd be pretty cool if we could have like a transfer panel at FusionCon, just to speak on their experiences and share what it's like to be a transfer in Fusion.
We have around 5 minutes left. Next question. How do you feel about the current Alianza relations? What do you hope to improve next year?
I would say, or what I've been told since I'm fairly new here is that Alianza relationships have been like stronger than they've ever been in the past. So I'd like to continue doing that, like through all the programs that I mentioned, and yeah, just pushing for more collaboration.
Next question. As EVP, you are the external face of Fusion. With Fusion's presence growing on campus, how would you plan on handling potential issues with Fusion's reputation in the public image?
I would say that as of right now, I think Fusion does a pretty good job of upholding like a good face on campus. Seeing as we have professionalism as one of our pillars, it is something that I would like to uphold as an executive board member. And as our past candidate mentioned, we would really like to push for more professionalism in Fusion. So I think that goes hand in hand with our public image and our face on campus.
Right, next question. Can you talk about your time commitments next year and how you plan on resolving time conflicts in the future?
Okay. So next year it'll be my 4th year. Working on finishing my degree. I do have an internship that I would like to keep through next school year. And other than that, the only thing I would have is Fusion commitments and maybe public commitments. But seeing as I would be elected next year, I think Fusion does have like my not my full attention as I think life happens, but it does have a good amount of my attention, and will do its due diligence for like what the position requires.
Next question. There are many aspects to being EVP. Why do Alianza talks stand out to you as an important part of Fusion in comparison to other EVP responsibilities?
I think Alianza talks made a really big impact on me, especially like upholding like our cultural pillar here at Fusion. It's a good way to discuss like I guess like Filipinx side of Fusion, and I like that it gives people a space to talk about things that you don't usually talk about on a day-to-day basis. How things impact you as a person, like through your culture and your shared like intersectionalities.
Next question. Why do you believe you are best fit for the position of EVP?
I would say a lot of my experience interning really helped me out and really helped me like guide myself to the decision to run. It was really fulfilling to do things like like I mentioned, it was the CCC Community Roots Festival, as well as like planning like Alianza collabs. That was really fulfilling to me. It didn't even feel like work to me. It was just something I genuinely enjoyed. So I think moving forward, doing it as a position, it's something that would come natural to me, and something that I can enjoy, and I can thus share that with the rest of the club.
Next question. What pillar of Fusion do you believe needs the most improvement, and how do you plan to improve this pillar?
As mentioned earlier, I think professionalism would probably need the most work. I would say I'm not entirely sure how to go about that. Haley did mention a lot of like programs in which she feels that could improve our professionalism pillar, but I will say that I guess from like outside looking in, it is important for us as like a STEM organization to appear professional, and I would love to push for further development of like that pillar.
We have 2 more questions. How do you plan to uphold the cultural pillar for those who are not Filipinx or Filipinx American identified?
Okay, that's a good question actually. As we are like a Filipinx organization, I would say that does shine a lot through like the programs that we have, but I don't see that as limiting us. If anything, like if you're not identifying it and you come into our space, you offer like a unique perspective that a lot of us don't have, and I would say that like it's very insightful for you to like everyone to share their own perspectives and kind of like bringing everyone together, like basking in our culture and like what it means to us.
All right, your last question also comes from the president-elect, so take your time with this one. Take a deep breath before you answer it. She asks, what class of class street would you be and why?
I would say, I know we already have like a dedicated goblet, but I would say I'm about my bag, so I have to get my money. I would say go.